like other things? What's your favorite thing to record on when you do meetings?
You know, you never speak about somebody negatively when they're listening, so I love Google Meet. I also like Jitsi as an open source video conferencing software, but these proprietary Web2 companies have a way of making it work well, don't they?
They do. These Google Hangouts and Zoom meeting calls are great. Like I'm talking to an artist right now. It's cool. Things like this could happen. But yeah,
I'm talking to an artist too.
This is Talking Shit with Nick. Welcome back, shitheads. I got a very special guest with me today. We got Daniel Friedman in the house, or in my living room, one of the two. You decide. I'm glad for you. Yeah, I'm glad for you to be on the show.
Thanks a ton for having me. Just looking forward to talking shit.
Thank you. Yes, everyone loves talking shit. Daniel, how did you get into like the crypto and the NFT space? Have you been in it for a long time? Have you been short amount of time? How did you get into it?
I was learning and interested in crypto from the kind of economic and also the computational side back 2015, 16, 17. Yeah. And I'm sure we'll get there, but I've been doing art for a long time, drawing. And it was in 2017 when those two threads crossed with a Google form. So again, how could I?
Another Google. Shout out Google.
Shout out to Google. With a Google form asking for submissions to a blockchain-based art show that was the one and only Curio. And so that was 2017.
Dang. 5 years.
Threw it out on a prayer. And then in the several years where it was like undiscovered / quiet, I was just working and learning still in crypto. And then 2021, things woke up.
Like blew up. What'd you do? Did you just kind of have like a regular 9-to-5 job before all this? Or were you kind of like set in, like, did you go to college for like digital artwork or like in that kind of field?
It's almost like I almost like failed college because of my artwork. No.
That's cool.
I went to undergrad and I studied genetics.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
And then from 2014 to 2019, so the Curio epoch, I was in grad school. And so I got a PhD in biology. And now I'm a researcher in biology.
Wow. That's amazing. I tell everybody I tried college for like 5 minutes and then I decided it was not for me.
I like that we can have so many different avenues to like recombine, as you know, we weave together here, don't we?
Yeah.
And in the broader like Web3 space, there's just so many amazing ways that people contribute.
On that kind, on the genetic stuff, that's really interesting. Did you as a kid what was like your big inspirations as a kid, like when did you know like I want to study genetics and stuff?
Didn't know I wanted to study genetics until being in college. I think apparently, so I've been told, my early aspirations was to be a lawyer for trains because I loved trains and all kinds of heavy equipment. And then got interested in how molecules influenced our experiences, if you know what I mean. Okay. And that was in the beginning of college. And I was like, wait a minute, a molecule binds to a protein and then the person sees a fractal or changes how they feel or makes like a decision that is different. So that was really fascinating. And I learned that that was related to biochemistry, about how like the molecules were binding to each other. And then genetics is kind of like the parent of biochemistry, because where does that protein come from? From information that's in the genome. And so that was where I thought was really exciting to study, was understanding how the genome was regulated and in feedback with the environment. And then that kind of like set me down all these pathways.
Do you have a, it's kind of a, I don't know if it put you on the spot, but do you have a favorite word in the genetic language and stuff or anything like that? The only thing I know about cells or anything like the mitochondria, is that right?
Mitochondria.
That's the powerhouse for the cells.
Mitochondria, powerhouse of the cell.
That's all I got.
I like that. I like the powerhouse one because people often think, oh, well, it's because it's making power. But then the kind of like underground of that metaphor is if there's a failure in the power plant, then like toxic waste leaks out and maybe the whole city freaks out. And then the cell kind of has that too. So it's always really fun because the cell, we don't really get to directly see it unless we're looking under a microscope. So it's always fun to think about like, well, if that's the power plant, then what's the post office and how does that metaphor help? How does it hinder? And then maybe it even makes you think differently about power plants and post offices at our scale.
Yeah. I know. I was wondering that, like, I tried phlebotomy for a little bit and then it just wasn't for me. But I noticed I looked at people kind of different. Well, I actually looked at people's veins, but I was just like, oh, wow. It's like once you start studying something, your mind goes to that kind of different. Like you never think you'd think of that kind of stuff. I think that's very interesting.
Science does it. Crypto does it.
Did you, so that's kind of cool though, because I would say, well, like, is like art and drawings your passion, but at the same time, like you have a career too, in a way, like you could kind of separate them both, where you're not like, you won't get sick and tired of a passion in a way, like you could focus on one thing. Because you, like most things, sometimes you don't want to mix your work and passion together, right? In a way, to a certain degree, unless it could go.
It's a tough question. I've never had the chance or requirement to draw for many hours per day.
Yeah.
So like, and yeah, do you want to have one activity and try to get all the vectors aligned and try to have your incentives personally and externally? So yeah, I really like doing research and talking to scientific colleagues, but it's part of a healthy, balanced breakfast with art and with other pieces of life. And so I try to like keep the balance in mind and probably fail more often than not at it, but at least it works sometimes.
When you, so like you're saying, this is the most time now you've ever been able to draw, I take it, like for serious in a way.
I would have to say the most time I had to draw was probably high school.
Okay.
And maybe little speckles throughout undergrad.
Have you kept a lot of your drawings from high school?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I wonder, have you ever thought of bringing those to like, call like Daniel's throwbacks or something in the NFT?
Retro.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about how to organize and like look back, but just maybe it'll be interesting. Initially, I only drew with black and white. Just only white paper, black pen.
Okay.
Only symbolic, only graphical. So those drawings were the kind of style that all the Curio and also the Curio Plus cards kind of are. So no words, no symbols, just pure abstraction, black and white.
Okay.
And then, you know, in the middle of grad school, when I hit puberty, artistically speaking, I started introducing some colors like red and purple and blue into the drawings, and then also started doing more symbols and words and incorporating words into the art and like quotations and things like that. And so that was, and then maybe I'd say that's even where I still am, which is I just think in terms of like, what am I going to use to do the art? Black and red pens, 99% of the time. What is the art going to be? Something graphic, symbolic, maybe a quote or a word. And then also, especially post Curio, a lot of people make requests. So people just send the most interesting and creative requests for things to draw. And so it's always fun, like, to kind of get a starting seed for art.
That's cool. Did you what gave you like inspiration to draw like that, or did that just something you came up with your like by yourself, or did you have different artists that you kind of grabbed those strings from and all that, or
Great question. I think a little bit of a bottom up energy and a little bit of top down structure. So I'll explain.
Mhm.
The bottom up energy was just sort of my antsiness, perhaps, but needing to have my hands a little busy during class.
Ah.
And I just started with drawing on margins. And then I was like, I'm not going to throw these notes away because the margin looks sick. I should just hide another piece of paper under the notes
Ah.
and then just do that class to class. And then that would be purely cool. So, wanting to stay active and focused, that was sort of where my fidgeting reflex met learning about some artists. This is the top down structuring part, like MC Escher here with a
Okay.
little Mobius strip and the ants.
Okay.
And some other, these are like a bunch of Mobius strips, and there's some art by my older brother.
Oh,
And
that's
so
cool.
just like seeing how art could be expressive and iconic and share meaning, I just thought it was awesome. And
That's cool.
most of my drawings are just sketches. And then the ones that I feel like something clicks and I feel like it's right to be shared, then I hope people who like them connect with them.
And is it only you and your brother artists, or does art run in the family? Would you say?
My little brother is an excellent musician.
Okay.
My older brother,
What does he play?
he plays
Or what?
guitar.
A guitar. That's cool.
Older brother is an excellent musician and visual and like multimedia
Ah.
art. And so I like was a little bit less on the musical side. I do
Yeah.
like drums, but not in any sort of coherent way. And so I just focused on the quiet thing I could do while listening to podcasts or listening to music.
Yeah. One of my favorite things is when people play a guitar or an instrument and they put like they sync it up to paint or something that hits the walls. So if they play a string, it hits the wall and it creates like a picture, like a random picture. Always thought that was a cool concept.
That makes me think about like I think kymatics, where they do the vibration of the sand on the plate and it makes really cool patterns.
Oh,
And so it's like
I have to look that up. That
it's
sounds
like the
cool.
pattern is kind of latent within the vibration, but then we're only experiencing like the sound just rushing over us like a wave all at once. And I have to say, I think it's one of the reasons I like drawing.
Mhm.
It's very choose your own pace.
Yeah, that's true. Russian.
Yep, you can stop, think about it, rotate the paper, take a break,
Yeah.
return to it. And so, despite the rhythm of the creation being like very interrupted and slow, the picture is perceived all at once. Whereas with music, you're very bound while you're making it, better and for worse. And then also the listener is bound to the time and the sequence of it most of the time.
Yeah.
And
That's
so drawing's like a lot more free in how it plays with time. And then music is almost expressively playing with time that way.
yeah. When you with your drawings too, like what made you for Curio cards, what made you submit that artwork? Like, did you feel really good about it? Like, was this like this is my prime pieces, or you're like, I want to try something new and I'm wanting to give it to this like
I think I picked pieces that I thought I'd like them to stand alone. Like,
Mhm.
I don't want there to be a big background or, oh, well, you had to know the guy and the early work. And so wanted the piece to be standing alone and to be something where they're in the set, there would be a similar style,
Mhm.
but not repetitive, like not just three kind of similar ones. So similar, but not too similar, standing alone, visually interesting. So one beautiful pen line can be amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's, art in other rooms that's very minimal, but I kind of like that maximalist. I mean, it's like my visual background here. Like once I start something, I gotta finish the
Gotta-
whole page.
yeah.
So, um, pictures that didn't require esoteric interpretation or background knowledge that were like immediately accessible, yet potentially people could interpret in a way that was deeper.
That's good. And then what made you decide on what the quantity of each card? Because if people that don't know, for Curio cards, Daniel, you did a set of or you did 3 cards of the collection, and like what made you decide to put for each number of the card?
Yes. So for 24, 25, 26 Curio, I did 333, 222, 111. And then several have been like lost
Which is a whole nother crazy story.
in the little nooks and crannies of the metaverse. The reason why I went with those numbers was I'm used to thinking about the art as a one of one. I guess I was thinking about drawings as one of ones before there was even one of
One on
ones.
ones. That's cool.
So I just thought, what's a ridiculous but number I've seen a print run do? And
Hmm.
I kind of like how even now we still talk about them in terms of the prints, like a run of a certain number of prints. So I wasn't thinking about it like Doge.
Okay.
Wasn't thinking that let's just do, why not have a million of them?
Yeah.
So just similarity and difference, repeating triple digits with difference. So how could like every option I had as an artist
Mhm.
and somebody engaging with the project, how could every opportunity I just like imbue something again that was like mysterious but also simple and accessible, but then maybe would leave people with a little bit more to talk about if they wanted to.
How long after like you was Curio your first it's one of the oldest art projects on Ethereum, but did you similar time did you submit artwork somewhere else too, or how long did it take for you to do like another project, or did you go like right into it right away to another one?
Another NFT
Yeah, yeah,
project?
yeah. Like did you
No.
just sit back, you're like, all right, well that was fun.
So I definitely didn't do NFT projects from 2017 till like the rediscovery in
Okay.
21. I think the NFT project that might have been first after Curio was possibly even making a limited edition NFT for um, the wedding of my wife and I in
Oh, whoa.
2021.
That's cool. That's pretty sweet. That's an awesome idea.
I'll tell you, it's not secret information, but it's
Okay,
fun.
okay.
We got some metal engraved ETH hardware wallets. So
Whoa.
not like Trezor status,
Hmm.
but just with a private QR engraved on the back,
Oh,
and then scanned those addresses. So could send to those addresses. And then if a person were to want to use it, they could like scratch the QR code and then load that private key in and utilize it. And so just um, didn't have a large gathering, but did get to drive around the country a little bit and see friends and send things around a little bit. So we put some art and made it an NFT and just said, don't even worry about what it is. Just put this little chip of metal somewhere safe and hodl.
oh, that's really cool. Man, that's a whole nother, just a whole another thing. Just going to a wedding and then you get the invitation, like here's a QR code for NFT as well. Like that's just that's the future, right? Possibly.
Every person like rightfully asked, like, what is this? What is an NFT? But it was like the excitement of getting this object that was like it's like a beacon. It's literally a key for some
Yeah.
digital system that's all around us. And then it involves art and it involves like a certain time that it happens. So it's like a memory of the event.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
when people were holding it and seeing the physical art that was scanned, and then they saw this thing and they knew that they had part of a series, but that theirs was that one. I want to say that it clicked for a few people.
That's cool. Man, I'm now I'm thinking like back then when people used to do time capsules and they bury it in the ground. But now one of the new thing, everyone's just gonna put memories in an NFT and then it'd be like a slideshow and stuff. But you open it in a vault in like 20 years and stuff.
Yep, like off-chain memories, that'll
Yeah.
be cool. Just like,
Uh,
on Google Photos, thanks Google.
yeah.
But then
Shout
for the
out Google.
real shout out to Google, but then for the real high quality memories, you pony up and then you get it into like some sort of more documentable format. I don't know, but I agree.
That's cool. Really, yeah, like I'm actually going to Vegas for my sister's wedding here in about 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then my girlfriend, her sister's having a wedding in the same week and on that weekend. So we're gonna have back to back. I've got to tell them about the NFTs.
Give them an NFT project. Just do a little digital or physical art, just saying, may it last forever and
They,
beyond.
well, like, and then too, the Super Bowl's doing an NFT for tickets now, and
Okay.
and now Coachella, there's news of them. They're doing lifetime pass NFTs. So like, that's just, I think it's a cool NFTs. My friend told me, shout out Dylan, but he told me about NFTs maybe 2 years ago, and I was just like, at the same time, I was just like, what the hell is this? Like, and then I'm sure what everyone hears is like, that's, you mean like it's just a picture, that's it and stuff. But now being in the space behind that picture is just like so much meaning behind it, or all the work that goes into it, all the teams that are behind it, and just like the growth of it. Now it's just bigger than a picture, but looking at it's just like crazy how much it came from 2 years.
Totally agree. I mean, it wasn't even called NFT in the Curio days,
Oh
and
yeah. What did you guys call it? Or like what did you even say? Like this is a digital art, basically, or
I believe the Google form said art show on the blockchain. I just
blockchain?
thought I always put in for an art show competition,
Okay.
but continue. I had a few other thoughts on the other part
Okay.
about the Super Bowl and everything.
Oh, okay. I mean, if you wanna let it unleash this, I'd like to hear it.
Yeah,
Or like,
so clearly it's some type of fractal hype cycle that we're in
yeah.
with people just like in 2017 with an altcoin and now new wave. So I'm thinking, how is it really different than the way that the codes were scanned on a ticket for a concert before? Like, I don't know the technical details, but there was
Hmm.
some encrypted database, and then they were checking some feature of this code to make sure that it was like one of a limited number.
Yeah.
So that technology has existed for a long time.
Yeah.
And people realize why there's scarcity, and there's a real community of people that make that scarcity valuable, and that scarcity and that veracity enables you to have access to like real world settings. And so it's almost like the NFT is just like a digital certificate. And
Yeah. Nice
so if
digital
you don't care
ticket stub.
if you don't care about the digital certificate for art, okay. It's like not caring about the Super Bowl tickets,
Yeah.
and then there's a market for people who care, and then people who don't get to, right click save and watch it free.
There you go. Yeah. And then yeah, I think, and that's the even like a cool, like the movies. I always saved a ticket stub if I went to go watch like the new King Kong, like Peter Jackson's King Kong, or any of the new Marvel movies and stuff. I always kept the ticket stub just to say you could keep an NFT ticket stub now for your movie and stuff. Just like anything's possible now with that technology.
And the POAP, the proof
Oh
of attendance protocol,
yeah, yeah,
it's pretty much that, and
yeah,
I think they even frame it like that. It's like, this is kinda like your diary or your journal of which events, and then I look at that and I just see a few that I participated in.
yeah,
But you bet I remember those, and I will remember those more than the 300 that I didn't
yeah,
record
yeah.
in any way.
Poet for a wedding. I was there.
POWP.
There you go. That'd be a good brand name. I like that name.
Palp.
About the next boy band or girl band. Who knows? Do you have you ever dabbled to play an instrument? Like, or do you play
Um,
guitar as well?
uh, I played drums when I was
You, pl-
younger. And I still have like my practice pad and my drumsticks.
Oh,
And
that's
so sometimes when I just need to tap, 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 I do that. But I'm more of a listener.
I was an expert on drums on Rock Band. I'm just throwing that out there. But then I was rocking so hard, I broke my pedal, my foot pedal, and you can't do drums without a foot pedal.
But it's a skill that's in demand in the metaverse.
Oh, there you go. No, that's the whole nother like I was Rock Band and Guitar Hero. That was like just ahead of its time. Like it was, but at the same time, it was the right time. Like everyone was into it, but I thought that was the craziest technology.
The way that you're bringing it up, it makes me think of DDR, Dance Dance Revolution,
Oh,
and
hell
about
yeah.
how there was kind of this transitional, what people used to do when they actually would dance or
Yeah.
actually play music. Okay. Then there's this interval where it's like you're physically dancing on a mat or on a game board, or you're actually doing something, and it was like very similar to the real thing, but just gamified. And then in some ways, this whole next phase, it's just like continuing. It's like, well, now just all you have to do is think about dancing and people will see you dancing, but you
Yeah.
can just be chilling.
I always thought, and then, oh man, we were just going, my girlfriend and I with some friends, we went bowling or a couple nights ago. But then it was like busy and stuff. But at the same time, we're like, we could just do Wii bowling. We could just go to our friend's house and do Wii bowling. So like it's so digital. Like going to the future, I don't have to go to a baseball field. I can just play Wii Sports or something.
One other in that sort of DDR realm, I remember this was at Moscone Center in San Francisco. It was a bowling alley, and so there was a screen, and then there was a ball that was in like a thing,
Uh-huh.
and then you rolled the ball, and it didn't move, but it was just like spinning in the thing. And so then you could like twist it, and you had to do the bowling. And so, but it was set up like a bowling alley, like it
Oh,
looked like that, but then it was just smaller. So it was kind of like the DDR of bowling. But
interesting.
then
Who thinks of
it's
that?
weird. I know.
I was always fascinated as a kid when they have the virtual golf where they hit the golf ball in the wall and it just goes. I'm like, where the hell? But I thought that was the coolest thing. I still, in the future, I'm still gonna have that in my house someday, just to have it, just to say I have it. What technology blew your mind when you were like a kid? Like that looked like you're like, holy cow! Like I can't believe this is real. Because I always think about that too with like movies. Like if someone in the 20s, well, 1920s, not these 20s now, but like if they saw a Marvel movie, I think their head would explode. Because it's just like the animations and stuff just be far like they'd feel like, how's that real?
It's a good question. I'm trying to like imagine when flip phones were the
Oh,
game, and then what the first smartphones were like. And then the other thing it makes me think of was like just to be growing up when the cost of RAM, hard drive space, CPU, internet
oh,
connectivity was dropping so much. So it'd be like, oh, look at this sweet laptop, 64
yeah,
gigabyte hard drive and 1 gigabyte of RAM. And then just to see that what used to be like a professional grade or the video editing one, it just got bumped down and down over
that
like
is.
there's such a short period of time. And then that was just kind of crazy.
But the graphics are still just as good, but at a lower price. You're like, how are they doing this? In a way,
Yeah.
because I guess
And
like,
some,
oh, go on.
or just some computer graphics
Okay,
were just coming out of the cuts,
that's another
like
thing that makes.
Avatar.
Oh yeah, that's true. I mean, that was another thing that made me just kind of feel funny because I like let's say Madden 2004 or go back to King Kong. King Kong made a PlayStation game, but I thought at the time I thought to myself, graphics are never going to get better than this because this is the most realistic thing. But now here like this I remember when I first I think it was NBA 2K9. Shaq was on the cover, but in the game it was like the first time they put armpit hair in the game, and I was just like, how this is so real. This like
Too
song.
real.
Yeah, it was just stuff like that. It makes me it's so weird how this technology we grow with it. We experience it all, but we don't really pay attention. I feel like how good the graphics change and stuff because we're just like so desensitized, or just like we're just so used to it. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, and we don't often get the chance to reflect on a daily or even a yearly. What would surprise us with technology? Let's just say they came out with another internet
Like a new,
mode,
yeah,
just faster.
yeah,
Okay, but can't we already stream in HD? Like, and then I don't know. Are we
like
burnt out on it, or do we
uh
just need to really reflect and recover and try to understand what would be surprising? But then again, if you knew what would be surprising and effective and marketable,
yeah, yeah.
then tell Nick over here.
I mean, I think the closest thing might be like, I guess VR is going to be the next. Like me and you, we could be putting on our headsets and then we're like sitting in a chair, like looking at each other. That'd be like the next big stuff that kind of blow my mind, I guess.
I am looking forward to having something where instead of just two monitors,
Mm-hmm.
can have like a digital workspace that's very large.
Ah, that'd be cool. Kind of like the cool Tony Stark thing where he moves the window and you like throw a tab over there and a tab over there and stuff. Daniel, that'd be good. That'd be sweet.
I think it basically exists though. I just don't have it.
Oh, so I know someone's laughing at us like, oh, I got that. Then they won't release it or something. I remember a long time ago there was like a smart table and you like put your phone on the thing and then all your photos dump out of your phone. And then you could like expand it with your fingers and stuff. But then I was like, I've never seen this at Best Buy or anything. This is like in 2009 and stuff, but just like
I
people come
do.
with these cool concepts.
Yes, there's the consumer tech side, and that's the whole flying car angle. But
Yeah.
then the hidden technology is in many ways what evolves faster because it doesn't have to wait for what people think they want.
Yeah, yeah.
And so, what changes are happening now that are silent and they're not changing like the everyday citizens user experience of their phone or the trash and the recycling or
Yeah.
anything, but things are changing. And so
You know what? That would be a college course I'd want to take. This like hidden technology 101. That'd be a good one to learn about. Whatever's
actually
going on.
one book kind of related to that I'm reading with a book club.
Okay.
So it's called Buckminster Fuller Inc. Architecture in the Age of Radio. And I
Wow.
love Bucky Fuller.
Shout out Bucky
It was
Fuller.
like shout out hashtag Bucky. And
Hashtag Bucky.
this book is kind of like saying radio is a material. And Bucky was thinking about architecture in terms of the physical structure of the building, but also the informational connectivity. And he was framing it in his own Bucky way. But certainly people consider how radio waves and how these invisible things bear on our visible reality. So it's just so cool to look back like 50, 80 years in a period that he was working. And if people had two-way video, they would just educate each other all day. And then they'd be able to support each other so that nobody would have to not have enough. And
Oh
people who had
wow.
creative idea. It was just like, oh, well,
If you could
didn't exactly go that way yet.
dang. That's kind of cool. Now, when was I guess and this was him talking back then about it? I take it. This is like or was it
his work was mostly from around the 1920s to 1980.
okay. Wow, okay. Dang, just to see that's another like with music too, like or like radio, like when I thought my $1 million idea, I was gonna do radio DVR. So you could like record a song during while you're driving instead of like but now we have Spotify and Apple Music and all that. But at the time I think Daniel, that would have been a great idea. But I think it's just I think like someone from that period, like my grandpa, I think I was talking to Adam McBride about this, but like if my grandpa he barely passed after like the first iPod, but he passed before the first iPod came out or at MP3s. And I think he would have shot himself if he would have saw that. Like he's like, you could put all the music in this little box and stuff. And just like this to think in our minds, like technology in 90 years, 100 years, what the like what's I can't even comprehend my like head of like what that's gonna be like Like I don't even know. I don't even know what's going to be the next NFT thing in the future.
Like
Or
they have
RP thing.
devices that milk 3 goats at once.
There you go.
Just back
We
in
just
my
got yeah, we
day.
just got back in my day. Jeez, that's another. Oh, Dan, that's a whole nother thing. Like the first person to ever milk an animal. Like what were they doing? Where were they going? But shout out to them. Shout out milk, I guess. Almond milk. I don't know how they do. I
Yeah.
milk almonds and oats. Do you have a favorite type of milk?
Raw,
Oh, raw milk. Okay. I don't think I've ever had
healthy.
that.
If it can be healthy and legal and local, then I fully support it.
Okay.
But I like dairy milk.
Okay. I know. I tried an almond milkshake one time, and I couldn't tell a difference. I couldn't tell a difference. Oat milk though, and coffee. I love that.
It's creamy and delicious. I also love oats and oat milk.
See, we could basically come up with the commercial for oat milk if you ever want to.
It's like an oat.
Whoa, a goat milk, like, but it's oat. I see. I don't know where that was going with that one. Sorry, my mind is crazy.
I was thinking of a massive cow-sized oat with 4 tiny almonds for legs.
Hey, that's my. That'll be come up with that concept. That's the next NFT you could do. But when you you know how you're saying you like you always join art competitions. When you like with curio cards and like Christie's auction and stuff, how like shocked were like I know you were like everyone. I mean, if you weren't shocked, are you a robot? But if you're like, what was your thought process of like seeing it go to Christie's? Like your artwork was in Christie's.
It was. I still feel like I'm processing or thinking about it, but I just thought, wow, I'm amazed, but not too surprised that people care. I think they should.
Yeah.
And then just to see, I barely know. It was just like, it was also a teaching moment in a lot of ways because it is the biggest stage of the legacy world.
It was a Super Bowl.
It was the Super Goat, and the art was how they presented digital art was interesting because it was like, well, this is sort of the compromise between what the fine art community and the digital art that we know. How is that getting presented? And the live stream and just to be like
cool.
chatting with everyone, and it was like, what?
Yeah.
It was like 2 minutes long, but then it felt like it was 2 seconds, and
it happened so quick, but it was like it felt like forever because they're like, holy cow! Like building up to it is the first one on the block. Like, damn, they should have said first one on the blockchain. That would have been very good.
It was awesome. Didn't influence my activities too much, but I hope people who care again can.
And then I take, or do you have a lot of, or do you have some art friends too? And then for them to experience that too, like, holy crap, your art's in Christie's. Like, did you even like have friends too that are not totally in NFT space or anything? You're like, hey, my art's in Christie's. And like, oh, okay, cool. Like they were too like impressed.
Maybe a lot of people are probably used to me telling them wacky stuff.
Okay.
That's not awesome. Again. And I'd say most of my art friends are also in the sort of science game.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't really. It's not that I don't share it. Obviously, I'm here on a public conversation with you talking about it. But I think people who are learning about ants or who I interact with in that way, they probably don't know. And I will give you a follow-up report if anybody like freaks out once they find out.
Can you see in any can like science and like genetics like that, can it coexist with like NFTs? Can you like form something like NFTs like that and all that?
This is like one of my favorite areas and something that I'll be just really excited to be working on in the coming years.
Okay.
Yes, because the features that matter for NFTs and the whole continuum of fungibility. The integrity of the information and the ability to have like a verified information environment where certain kinds of information are treated with great respect, whether it's your Bitcoin balance or whether you're the NFT holder or whether it's scientific data.
Mm-hmm.
There's more in common in some ways than not. And so this hopefully will go under the heading of decentralized science, DeSci, kind of like DeFi. Maybe there's more names and hashtags to come, but DeSci is the hopefully doing something positive first, but with a rhyme to what DeFi has done for TradFi, with less of an emphasis on the financialization and the speculation part, which is part of science. Science is financialized and we're making hypotheses. So it is speculative in that sense, but there's a ton of ways in which I hope that these types of technologies can help support high quality research with like integrity of data sets and analysis, make research really accessible, and form communities in a bottom-up way that are just really excited to do science.
That's all. And that's, would you say that's in the category of like hidden technology? Like that's all, not people are demanding that, but you're like little Daniel's like, hey, I'm working on something right now. You guys don't even know.
It's the curio of DeSci. They're probably around today.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's cool. I love that. I love that. That's sweet.
It would be really exciting because the legacy system, which I really respect and personally have benefited and has done many great things, thanks Google, and the Google of academia.
This podcast is brought to you by Google.
That's right. There's a big world out there, and legacy credentials don't always tell the whole picture. And let's open it up and see what the scientific ecosystem can be. And that can include people from every time zone, every background. Let's take citizen science, and instead of having people play like little repetitive games and just have them do Mechanical Turk for free, let's harness people's creativity and unique perspectives to advance research and education. Like what if people asked questions about something they didn't understand? And then we had 500 people who had skin in the game involved in an ongoing discussion. This isn't just like science communication, like yelling from the ivory tower. This is like a way that people could actually be involved
and understand
understand it and be around long-term. And then the crypto and the DeSci angle introduces the possibility that maybe they could financially benefit or non-fungibly benefit. Like if 100 people contributed with comments on a paper, they get a POAP for the paper, proof of review, or just who knows what it will look like. But it could be the kinds of things that incentivize people to go wild for art NFTs and art in the real world. Well, some of us go wild for science, and some of us really want to also include other people to the extent they want to do as well.
Wow, that'd be nuts. And like going to restaurants or gas stations, I'm seeing Bitcoin ATMs and all that. So like that'd be nuts to get health insurance, but then you're like you're like deductibles like 1 ETH like this later on in the future. I think that I could see it, Daniel.
Yeah, but the education and research side of crypto, it's what I'm really excited about. I don't know as much on the technical or economic sides, but what I see with education and science just could be really awesome.
Like a lot of people say, we're really still early, right? And all this kind of stuff, even
on the fintech, the financial tech side, it's still early, but for applications that learn from what has happened over the last like 10 years in crypto and then pick out a real pressing issue and identify an opportunity and then use all the technologies at our disposal, blockchains and beyond, like that's modern technology.
That's cool. I like the idea too, like of like of just Curio cards too being like ended up to be a success, but you're using that success to do like bigger and better things, or like don't have to like I like how you're expanding it instead of just focusing on one thing. You're kind of like, all right, I got some stuff to do now, like to go on to stuff.
Of course, there's so much more I could say
Yeah,
about
no,
that,
yeah,
but put it this way, the curio cards that I made the art for,
yeah,
they are way more than my annual salary as a researcher.
which is insane.
So then it's like, again, people pay a lot for art, which is awesome
Yeah,
if it's valuable to them, but it opens more questions and thankfully doors
yeah,
than not. And so just like we gotta move forward, just like we talked about in the spaces with the Curio DAO. That's what's going to be fun about Curio going forward is yes, it was a snapshot in 2017. It's always a moment in time. And there's this living body moving forward. And that's just like science. The paper is published and then people do stuff with it and make it meaningful. And so art, science, crypto, those are the threads that always are coming together when I'm like thinking about this and talking to people like you.
okay. Ah, science. I need to get into more science. Oh well, speaking on like other projects too, with Curio Plus, in a way, how'd you did you same kind of did you have the same mindset of making cards for Curio Plus of like the design, or did you want to, because they're a little not too similar, but did you kind of keep on that same like idea?
I went with the same idea of full page, black and white, and then let the graphic designer just crop, choose everything else, and just make it happen. And it looks awesome. And some part of me still just looks at the art and I feel like a child drawing. Like I just think that was just in front of me using a $1 pen and 1 cent of paper.
Yeah.
And so to see how many other people start to get involved, like that's the really exciting part. And then also to connect and to get to work with other artists and people who, even if they don't call themselves an artist, take an artful approach to life. There are people who I wouldn't get to engage with, but it's just been awesome to learn everyone's perspectives.
That's what I liked about, I'm sure there's a lot of projects out there that do the same, but like with Curio and Curio Plus, how there's not just one artist in a way, like there's multiple different variations of people and behind each piece, and it's cool, like just there's so much diversity of just like it's like to the boy bands or girl bands, you could have your favorite band member in that whole collection but still respect all the other artists still too.
Yep. And it allows us to like get excited about other artists because sometimes the art can just scroll by, right? Like we're exposed to so many images per day. So
Yeah,
why care or really engage deeply with any one of them? So the thing about a curated art show is it reduces, that's kind of what curation is, curation, to a set that it's like, this is the set to pay attention to. It's what Christie's does. It's what art curation is. So that's the sort of set. And then there's other artists. So it's kind of like being in a long form dinner, like artistically. It's like you know some of the people, you don't know some of the people, but it's an opportunity to look at the art repeatedly. Like it comes up again and again and again. And then we're changing. The art isn't changing. That's the cool thing about the art. The cool thing about us is that we do change. And so
yeah,
then there's
yeah,
this like ongoing infinite dialogue. And so to be able to like slow down and then get exposed to new artists and then get excited about supporting them, whether they're onboarding to NFT or just trying something new, like
yeah,
I'm not going to just shill my own art, but it's always easy to talk about somebody else's whose is awesome.
yeah. It's cool too, like it gives you, because yeah, you never know what you're gonna like run into if you just try, and you've submitted an art now. Your arts and Christie's and like this all these possibilities and stuff. So I think that's such a cool story. Like just with all a lot of the Curio card artists too, just like they're like just a band that got together, like all different from over a period of time, and people just submitting art or just the OG, like all the OG ones are so cool. Like I love that idea.
Yeah, and what is awesome is like everyone is still in the game
Yeah,
and hopefully doing great things with the blessings that we've all received. But
yeah,
like it's not just like we were on the varsity team in high school and then 5 years later everyone's scattered. Everyone's continued to develop so much, and it's just another chapter in their crypto journey.
yeah,
Just like Curio is only one chapter in this broader story of other chains and other non-fine art. And then I just also love like how many firsts Curio brought together, the technical and the different media and different representations. Like it's awesome. And then for my little drawings to be perhaps some of the first scanned drawings, which is like the
oh,
genre that I care about, which is drawing.
yeah.
That's fun.
And that's something crazy to say that you were the one of the first to ever do it. Like that's not a lot of people could say something in like life now. Like that's pretty cool to say.
But again, the curio of X is happening right now.
Yeah. Yeah. There's so many things. And it's just like, I don't know. There's so many, it's like new sets of viral stuff happening, like the new viral NFT instead of now viral video. It's just new things always in life. It's always wondering like, what's the new dance? Like, what's the next dance coming up? Like, is it the Soldier Boy, or is it going to be the WAP or the Gangnam Style? Like you never. It's just like what's going to be next. There's always going to be something next, but it's cool that you could say that you were one of the first to do that next.
Yeah, what that makes me think about is as we move into this decentralized future, that like those viral trends, they do take advantage of bottom up energy and people's preferences, but there's a huge top down structuring and control element to them for another podcast. But I'm really excited to see what happens when the systems allow us to express what is that bottom up. And maybe it looks like 1,000 genres of music. And so it's just like a mycelial network or something like less centralized where there isn't just one way of looking at things or like one, oh, that's the Christie's of this. It's
Mm.
like, well, there was kind of like the 6 o'clock news and there was Christie's and there was all these things that were the one. And then now, are we going to all fall through the cracks? Or can we really have like a regenerative future where, yes, it is a little bit more disaggregated and there isn't like a musician or NFT artist that everyone knows, like the Hank Aaron of NFTs or something like that.
Yeah.
But then isn't that also really beautiful if that can end up supporting people and having them express what's authentic to them?
Do you do you do you see yourself like always being the NFT? But can you ever see yourself taking a break because you could get like? Can you see yourself being burnt out, or do you think with you like you said with art, you're not rushed and stuff? Like, do you always see like NFTs being in your life now from now on? Probably definitely.
It's one reason why I like drawing again, not to like enjoy it too much. Can't have too much fun. It's after work, But I just thought I have to draw it once perfectly or whatever. Well, and then I scan it and then it's done. But music, there's this like recreation of live music angle. So in a sense, it doesn't matter what I do for NFTs, at least for the ones that have already been created. Um, and so I hope to just live a healthy life on multiple levels and balance different kinds of contributions and provide a lot of on ramps for people into art and science and crypto.
Well, like we're not me and you. This is our first time meeting in person, by the way, too, which is for the viewers and listeners. So this
It's
is
true.
like
True facts.
I think what we've done like 8 emails maybe, and maybe just like 4 Discord direct message. But like on a surface level too, I just think you're a really awesome person, and then like just from your passions, I think they're great. Like you're doing some cool stuff, and I'm always inspired by people like you, and like even Max and Adam and Travis, like just all them, like they have passions because it's still in my life, I'm still trying to find that passion and stuff, and I'm still figuring it out. So like it's cool to talk to people that kind of like everyone always says, like no one's know exactly what they got their life figured out doing, but like I feel like you guys are on a really good train track of like going where you want to go. So I really respect that.
Thanks. I have a little more familiarity with you since I did listen in preparation to a few of your discussions. So, I know a few things, and I really appreciate it. I hope that people can bear with the complexity that there is the on-chain representation that's beyond any person. And then there's the person that will always be like beyond what the on-chain is. And then again, I just hope everybody can balance all of these challenges and take advantage of the opportunities. And you're totally going about it the right and most direct and transparent and honorable way with open-ended dialogue and like reaching out and hustling. And so that's just really exciting. And I know you're in the game long term.
Well, I appreciate. I mean, this is the most comfortable space I've ever been into. Or like, there's sports and stuff, but like, actually, I can't talk to the athletes or the coaches and stuff. Like, in this Discord, I could like direct message artists and like, hey, what were you thinking about this part in your life or something? Like, it's a cool way to get to know people like personally. Or it's
I
kind of surprising how not easy, but like it's all right there. So it's like it's cool that it's not like an guaranteed option, but it's like you could try at least. Like it's never gonna be like I'm never gonna meet like Tom Brady, maybe. But I don't know.
I guess from being in science, I was like kind of a paper fanboy. Like I'd read a paper and I would
Okay.
email the authors. And so I'd recognize the last name from the citations. I'd be like, look at, wow, for decades they've been writing the papers, write them an email. And so often they'd say, no one has ever contacted me this way, actually. And so the superstars in my little league of like insect biology,
Yeah.
it was like that was the top of the game and they were contactable. And so I think it's kind of a fun way. I don't know if it's always going to be that way. I hope that
Yeah.
like we can always be accessible, and it's not possible for every person to have like an infinite length conversation. So
Yeah.
that has to be balanced, but that is kind of how blockchains are. Like everybody's on the same floor of the blockchain. There's no address that cannot, no email address, no eth address that cannot communicate.
Hmm.
So the limitations are the ones that we place. So again, like how do we just clarify our values, which I hope include things like accessibility and the ability to help people who are in all different stages of their life and career, and then use technology to do it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's been about an hour. Don't want to keep you up on time because I know you're way busier than me. But I really appreciate you coming onto the show and taking some of your time to talk to me. And I hope everyone listening too, they get something out of this, or they just enjoy two people just talking.
I'm happy to return with just us or in any other format. And yep, I hope people can look into either of the sides of this conversation if they want to learn more.
Yes, and then check out Curio Plus and the OG Curio cards or my Curio cards, and then anything you want to plug, Daniel, or like anything you're working on, or even a message to the people, or
I know that that's where I'm supposed to have the 30-second.
or yeah, or you
Come
could just be like say one word phrase. It's up to you.
come get involved in participatory science. I won't even name any projects, but if you search into what I'm involved in and others, you'll find more than enough. But just take the first step and make it happen. Modify your niche.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Daniel. I hope to have you back on the show. You're welcome anytime.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.